The top story. The COVID-19 surge continues to sweep across India, driven by the Omicron variant. India has reported 3,47,000 new COVID-19 cases. That is 19% higher than yesterday. India's positivity rate also up from 16.41% to 17.94%. And in a testimony to the highly contagious nature of the Omicron variant, India has gone from 1 lakh to 20 lakh weekly cases in just 20 days. Remember, it took 58 days to reach the same milestone in the second wave. Meanwhile, different states are imposing weekend curfews differently. The weekend curfew in Delhi will stay for now. The LG overrode the AAP government's recommendation to lift it in view of declining COVID cases in the capital. This even though COVID-19 cases in the national capital have seen a marked decline over the past few days, from a peak of nearly 30,000 on the 14th of January to just about a little over 10,000 cases today. However, the city still does have a positivity rate, that's the number of cases detected per 100 tests, at around 18%, which is a cause for concern. Karnataka, on the other hand, while reporting over 30,000 new cases today compared to Delhi's 10,000, has lifted its weekend curfew. However, the night restrictions from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m, will continue as part of efforts to stem the spread of the coronavirus, the government says. The Technical Advisory Committee said that COVID cases are increasing, but hospitalization is not significant, and hence they've decided to lift the weekend curfew in the state. However, restrictions on protests, rallies, fairs and events will continue, the government says.
Weekend curfew. Saturday, Sunday ಇತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ತೆಗೆದಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗಳ ಸೇರೋ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದನ್ನ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಕರ್ಫ್ಯೂ ಏನಿದೆ, ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಇದೆ.
So like I said, Delhi has reported about 10,000 new cases. There's quite a drop there from the previous 24 hours. However, there were 43 confirmed deaths. That's the most deaths since June last year, when 44 people had died. And most of these deaths are in persons with comorbidities or who haven't been vaccinated.
Amit, just 21 years old, is taking on the responsibility of the eldest son, cremating his father Satish Kumar, 53 years old, and a TB patient who died after contracting COVID. His younger brother Raja, only 13, is inconsolable. The two brothers hunched over with grief.
टीबी की दिक्कत थी, वो सही हो गई थी बिल्कुल. ये भी हो सकता है कि डॉक्टर को कोई कोविड हो रखा हो, उसके वजह से भी हो सकता है.
12-year-old Arsalan is now orphaned. His father Naved, just 35 years old, died this morning of COVID. His mother had died during childbirth. Naved was unvaccinated.
13 तारीख को उनको सांस लेने में दिक्कत हो रही थी, तो जब जीटीवी में उनको भर्ती करा था.
अभी बात कर रहा हूं. उनको वैक्सीन लगी थी सर?
नहीं मैडम, वैक्सीन नहीं लगी थी.
While the positivity rate in the national capital has dipped to 21.48%, Delhi has reported over 12,000 new cases and 43 deaths in 24 hours.
दिल्ली के अंदर यंगस्टर की डेथ होनी शुरू हो गई है, लेकिन इसमें एक बात और आ रही है. जितनी अभी तक हमने क्रीमेट किया है या दफनाया है, इसमें अनवैक्सीनेटेड लोग ज़्यादा हैं, जिन्होंने वैक्सीनेशन नहीं कराया है. आई थिंक वो 80% डेड बॉडी वो हैं.
In the last 24 hours, Delhi has recorded 43 COVID deaths, the highest since this Omicron wave has begun. This time the death rate is much lower than it was in previous waves, but we cannot avert our eyes from the tragedy still unfolding. This time we've seen many cases of people who were admitted to hospital for severe illnesses, other illnesses, who contracted COVID at hospital and then died very soon after. With AJ Joseph, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
All right, let's get you all the election or poll stories at this hour. The BJP announced more candidates for the UP election today, and some interesting names coming up there. Shot in the arm for the BJP because the Congress rebel Aditi Singh has gotten a ticket from the Congress bastion of Raebareli. The other big names, the ex-IPS officer Asim Arun has gotten a ticket from Kannauj. However, there was a setback for the BJP in a sense, at least in Goa, where Saurav Gupta joins us, and he is reporting that Utpal Parrikar, the son of the three-time Goa Chief Minister, the former Union Minister, the Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, has parted company with the BJP today. This Saurav, after the party refused to offer him a ticket for the Panaji seat, that's his father's seat for decades.
Absolutely, the Panaji seat was something that Manohar Parrikar was holding till, of course, his unfortunate death. And of course, Manohar Parrikar's son Utpal Parrikar wanted to contest then. At that time, it went to a close aide of Manohar Parrikar. This time around, Utpal Parrikar was very clear with the BJP that he wanted to contest from that seat. The BJP said no, but gave it to the turncoat from the Congress who had joined the BJP, Babush Montserrat. Now that is something that really upset Utpal Parrikar, saying that Montserrat is actually someone who stands against all the values that Manohar Parrikar held close to him, and with those values built the party in Goa, which is why he says now he will fight as an independent. And when asked about whether he's quitting the BJP, he said it's a technicality. And when asked about the barb that Devendra Fadnavis made, saying that nobody gets anything on a platter, just because you're Manohar Parrikar's son, you cannot get a ticket, Utpal Parrikar replied, that's right, I agree with Mr. Fadnavis, which is why I'm fighting, and the people of Panaji will decide my fate.
All right, thanks so much for that. And meanwhile, in UP, the Congress released its youth manifesto for the UP Assembly elections, promising to solve a number of issues related to youth, including unemployment, and its vision document for India's most populous state. And just a little after that, we caught up with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra for an exclusive interview where NDTV Srinivasan Jain asked her about her hint earlier in the day that she was the Congress's chief ministerial face. She's denied that, but she does not rule out contesting in these elections. Listen in.
You are building on the ground, but the lack of a leadership structure or a face in Uttar Pradesh remains a challenge. I just saw that you had a press conference where you said, when they were asked, "Koi chehra kaun hai?"
I was being a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Okay, but you said that you are the chehra.
No, and I said, look, because I'm asked this question, every second question is the same question.
Yes.
Now, clearly, I am the General Secretary of Uttar Pradesh, and in most ways, between me and Ajay Lalluji, who's the Pradesh Adhyaksh, and Mona ji, who's the CLP leader, we are leading the effort in Uttar Pradesh.
You say your face is on every poster.
It is. So, but whether now officially we have to say that this is the face or that is the face, it's unlikely that we're going to do that.
But you're saying it's safe to assume that you are the sort of
no, it's not
face
safe.
Of
no, you
of
can't. You can't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's safe to assume. I'm saying that I am the General Secretary of Uttar Pradesh. The responsibility for Uttar Pradesh is mine, and I'm dealing with it.
Why aren't you fighting the elections then?
Well, you don't know yet whether I am or not. So.
Okay. Is that an open question?
It's an open question for now.
So you might fight the election if it comes to it?
I may well.
Okay. Have you given any thought to where you might want to fight from, or?
I've left this discussion for a little bit later. So when we do have the discussion, and if at all I decide to fight, I will let you know.
That's interesting. Can we assume from that you are also in a sense positioned as the Congress's chief ministerial candidate in UP?
No, I don't think you should make assumptions like that. I have clearly said that that is not the case.
Okay.
I have clearly said just now also to you. Of course, I did. I made a tongue-in-cheek remark at the press conference, but no, I don't think it's fair to assume that.
But at least.
Meanwhile, in Uttarakhand, Harak Singh Rawat, who had been expelled from the BJP and was one of the Congress rebels against Harish Rawat, has joined the Congress again after reportedly convincing the leadership. And the other big story of the day, the Amar Jawan Jyoti, or the eternal flame for soldiers, was put out at the India Gate in Delhi today, 50 years after it was first lit, and it was merged with the torch at the National War Memorial in a military ceremony. The flame was taken from India Gate by a ceremonial guard to the new memorial around 400 meters away. This is, of course, in the heart of the national capital. The Amar Jawan Jyoti, or flame of the immortal soldier, was installed at the India Gate after the 1971 India-Pakistan war that led to the creation of an independent Bangladesh. It has been burning ever since, consistently, continuously. The National War Memorial, built in 2019, will now be the single point for military ceremonies and tributes to fallen soldiers. And in the past 3 years, most military events have been moved to the new memorial from India Gate. Critics, though, including opposition parties, are calling this an attempt to erase history and build a brand around monuments built by Prime Minister Modi's government.
The Amar Jawan Jyoti, or the eternal flame for soldiers at India Gate, was put out after 50 years and merged with National War Memorial in a military ceremony on Friday afternoon. The ceremony was presided over by Chief of Integrated Defence Staff, Air Marshal Balabhadra Radhakrishna. A soldier marched with the torch to the new war memorial around 400 meters away. The government says it's doing this as India Gate is a symbol of the colonial past, as it commemorates martyrs who fought for the British in the First World War and the Anglo-Afghan War. Many Indians died in those wars. Along with this, the government also announced it will install a statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose at the empty canopy near the India Gate. Though tomorrow, on his 125th anniversary, a hologram would be inaugurated.
आजादी के बाद दिल्ली में कुछ गिने चुने परिवारों के लिए ही नवनिर्माण हुआ, लेकिन आज देश उस संकीर्ण सोच को पीछे छोड़कर नए गौरव स्थलों का निर्माण कर रहा है, उन्हें भव्यता दे रहा है.
Congress's Rahul Gandhi accused the government of erasing the 1971 war history, while the government defended the move as a fitting tribute to soldiers.
What is happening is a national tragedy. It is a travesty. It is an attempt to rewrite history.
I think that the decision to merge the Amar Jawan Jyoti, Eternal Flame at Amar Jawan Jyoti, with the National War Memorial Eternal Flame is a very correct, befitting and the right decision to make. Controversy nahi honi chahiye. The National War Memorial is national in character and it contains the names of all from 1947 onwards.
The National War Memorial, built in 2019, will now be the only destination for tributes to fallen soldiers in independent India.
The iconic Amar Jawan Jyoti, the eternal flame that was on for last 50 years, that's half a century, here at the India Gate Memorial has been extinguished and merged with the National War Memorial in a ceremony on Friday. While the government defends the move as a fitting tribute to the martyred soldiers, the opposition parties accuse the government of trying to erase the 1971 war history. With camera person Ashok Mahale, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
And 3 people have been arrested by the Mumbai police as part of an investigation into an abusive and nasty discussion on the audio chat app Clubhouse. In this shocking chat that's spread on social media, participants are heard talking about brutalizing and torturing Muslim women. The accused are between the ages of 19 and 22 years old, and they're students, all from middle-class families. And that's not all. Even women were party to these conversations.
A chat room on a social media platform saw some disgusting comments discussing brutalizing women. The police identified the persons behind the login handles on the chat room before making the arrests. Akash, a class 12 student, Jaishnav Kakkar and Yash Parashar were identified as the ones discussing the brutalizing of women. The accused have made several virtual rooms on Clubhouse where they made derogatory remarks and spoke about brutalizing women.
On the podcast app of Clubhouse, in which 2 virtual rooms were created, and there were very vulgar comments about women, including sale of body parts of some women, auctioning of their body parts, and multitude of other derogatory remarks were used.
The police said they have identified at least 2 rooms created on 16th and 19th January by Akash, who was the moderator. All the accused are between 18 and 22 years old. 21-year-old Jaishnav Kakkar is a BCom student and 22-year-old Yash Parashar is a law student and come from middle-class families. The police say they will investigate their links to other chat rooms, including the one where discussions on private parts of Muslim women took place. Shocking that even women were part of these conversations.
नॉर्मली अभी तक हमने जो एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेंट था, जो गलत भाषा का, असभ्य भाषा का इस्तेमाल कर रहा था, उनको हमने आरोपी किया हुआ है. बाकी काफ़ी लोग थे जो म्यूट पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे, तो उनको अभी तक आरोपी नहीं बनाया.
The Mumbai police are also continuing their investigation into the Bully Buy app case, where they've arrested a fourth accused from Jharsuguda in Orissa. The police believe he's also linked to the Sully Deals case.
The content shared in these chat rooms or on social media, as in the case of the Sully Deals or the Bully Buy app, are all targeted at women. And the Mumbai police say the message is that if these criminals think that they can get away with this because of the anonymity that social media allows, then they are wrong. In Mumbai with camera person Sanjay Mandal, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And the Sensex and the Nifty slump for the third straight day on inflation fears. In the last three sessions, the Sensex has lost 1,844 points or 3%. India's benchmark indices fell about 1% for the third straight day on Friday. This as investor sentiment turned negative with rising bond yields and global oil prices. And for the first time since its market debut, Zomato shares dropped below their listing price. Shares of Zomato slumped over 7% to 116 rupees a piece on the BSE in Friday's session, tanking about 12% in the last 5 trading sessions. The market capitalization of the food delivery platform fell below the 1 lakh crore mark. The stock got listed in July 2021 and it is up more than 50% from its IPO issue price of 76 rupees. We're going to leave you now with some video that's going viral, and it's, listen, take a look yourself, and it's, no, it's not your phone that's ringing right now.
Good girl. Good girl, Kochi. Good girl.